first typical mistake which is made is, let's say you are using if loop. In if loop, it is important that these two curly braces should have a space in between. If you're not using that space, it will actually run into an error, and you might have seen this error yourself. There are extra characters after close brace. So one of the typical common mistake which is made is, when you are using if loop, this is your condition. After that, there should be space. Second mistake is, when you if you know, right, you can write a command in multiple lines using backspace at the end of the line, but don't should not have a space after this backspace. After backspace, the line should end. If you have a space, this will not work. Okay, so this is another typical mistake which is done by people, is having a space after backspace. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat window. Third mistake, which we also covered, that when you use square bracket, you should always remember what will be substitute in command substitution is value of the return of this. Okay, so whatever that tickle command or tickle procedure, if it's a procedure or if it's a tickle command, whatever that returns, the value will be substituted by that. Some of the tickle commands return 1 and 0, like a typical regexp command also returns 1 and 0, so it will be substituted by that. You have to make sure that is what you want to do. As we saw in this example, this is, we didn't want 1 or 0, we wanted to get actually the report text string out, and then you can get incorrect results if you don't know. So when the command is substituted, basically is basically a command which is substituted is the tickle string. So there is a question, can you iterate on the data available inside report string? Yeah, so in the report string here, basically everything, whatever is the output of report constraint will be put in the report string. Everything will be put at once in a variable. Similar to, so this is an internal prime time command which will be put. Another mistake which is done is, for a while loop, let's say you set x to 0 and you say while $x less than 4. What is the problem here is, when you come here, $x will be substituted. So it will become, rather than $x less than 4, this while will become 0 less than 4. And this loop will never finish because 0 will be always less than 4. Okay, so basically $x less than 4, it will be so here you should not use weak grouping. Code based grouping is weak grouping. You should use curly braces. So another typical mistake which is done. So there is a question, report timing may have 100 paths and I want to see 50th path. How do you do that? We'll cover that, as in also we have that later in the course. So another mistake which is done is basically weak grouping when it should be strong grouping, and this is a typical example of that. Another mistake which is typically done is in list command. Some of the list command work on list names, and some of the list commands which are work on basically values. So when they work on names, you have to give name. When they work on values, you have to give $list name.